Aquilifer is a name from ancient Rome. It is the rank and title of the soldier who is given the honor of holding the Golden Eagle standard for his legion. And this is an Aquilifer EP 5-25 power scope. And we're going to see if this budget first focal plane optic has the performance to live up to its name. I won't do a boring unboxing video. Instead, let's just take a look at the contents of the box. This is the Aquilifer 5-25 power first focal plane PRS style scope with a large 56mm objective lens and a 34mm tube. And even though Aquilifer is known for being a budget scope brand, I gotta say this scope does not look like a budget scope. It is certainly a nicer looking scope than I was expecting for a very affordable price scope. I believe this has about a $360 street price right now. It has a kind of Vortex Strike Eagle vibes and just the overall look of it, though there are some significant differences in terms of the contact tread pattern. So yeah, it's a little bit different, but yeah, I get that kind of vibe from this. Now it has a large turret here for the illumination and the parallax focus. It's powered by a 2032 coin battery, which it comes with. You can just unscrew that with a coin or using the included tool. It has 12 positions for brightness, and it is looks like a pretty bright illuminated reticle, but we'll take a look at that more closely outdoors. There's an off in between each of the settings there, and it shares the turret with a parallax, and the parallax turns smoothly, goes from infinity all the way down to a close focus of 15 yards, which makes this a very usable scope for rimfire or air guns. And let's take a listen at our turrets here, starting with our elevation. Very audible, tactile positive, with no slop in between each of the clicks. And this is a mill style scope, so each of the clicks is 0.1 mRad. These are user resettable, non-locking. And if you want to, it comes with a zero-stop ring, a Vortex style zero-stop ring. You just pop off the turret here and then plop down the ring on the pin, and then you engage the zero-stop. And it is quite repeatable and feels pretty solid. And our windage, again, very audible, tactile positive, no slop in between each of the clicks, and it is user resettable. And our magnification ring turns smoothly with a good amount of resistance, so you don't have to worry about it changing magnification by accident. Now, this tread pattern is recessed slits, which provide a good grip with my bare fingers, but because they are recessed, I wonder if this might cause some problems of slipping with the gloved hands, but if you have any experience with that, please let me know. And our diopter focus turns very smoothly, and there's a little indicator dot there, so that's good. And I'll show you visually if your diopter has shifted by accident, so that's a nice little feature. So overall, I have to say, this is a pretty nice looking scope. But of course, the important thing is that how does it look through the glass? So we're going to get this mounted up, and then we're going to give it a good test next. Before we get started with the test, I'd just like to take a quick break here to talk about this episode's sponsor, Aura. For the cost of just a VPN, I'm getting a whole suite of security services, including $1 million in identity theft insurance, and they're even removing me from those damn data broker listings. Use my link, aura.com/moondog, and you can try them for 14 days, free. And if you use that link, you're helping to support this channel. You know, identity fraud is a real thing, and with AI, it's all too easy to spoof your identity. That's why you should try out Aura. All right, let's get back to the tests. We are looking at the peak of Mount Davidson, 1,500 yards away. We have the scope set at its lowest power of 5 to give our best overall view through the glass. And the view in the real world is quite rainy, dreary, and overcast. It just stopped raining a few minutes ago. So the lighting conditions are not ideal. There's certainly a lot of moisture in the air, but what you're seeing through the scope is very color accurate and very accurate to the real world. Now let's bring up our magnification about halfway to its sweet spot, typically about halfway in its magnification range. We're stopping at 12 power. And let's take a look at the view here. It's pretty equally sharp from edge to edge, and because of the lighting, there's really little or no chromatic aberration to speak of, and it is color accurate, the view we're seeing. Now let's bring this all the way up to its maximum magnification of 25 and take a look. Oh my goodness, there's actually hikers at the top of the hill, even braving these kind of weather conditions. But those hikers are standing next to the trail marker sign, which we can easily see to the right and above the center crosshairs, about 2 mils to the right of the center crosshairs. That is a 3-foot-ish sign on top of a pole, which is a good proxy for an IPSC target at this distance. Bring this up to its maximum illumination. Oh, and that's pretty bloomy there. Let me bring down the magnification all the way. You can see the reticle shrink down. This is at 5 power now, and you can see that it is quite bright. And even if we bring this up into the sky here, and I'm just going to adjust the exposure, you can see that is quite visible at its maximum of 12 intensity on that illumination. We're looking through the Aquilifer at its lowest power of 5 at our reference target board downrange 100 yards away. And pardon any wind noise, it is a very gusty winter day here. Now let's check out a range of adjustments here, starting with our elevation. And that is the very topmost extent of our adjustments. And you can even see a bit of the eye box peeking in there at the top, and a little bit of the eye box at the bottom there, and we have hit bottom. All right, let's dial this turret back to its starting 0. And let's check our windage, and that is the right extent of our range of adjustments, and that is the left extent, and you can see it is a surprisingly tight eye box even at low power here. All right, we are zeroed out on the turrets. Now let's bring up our magnification halfway to its sweet spot of 12 power, and we are lined up right to the highlight of that grid target there, the lower left corner there. So let's do a box test. We're going to start with a full rotation of our elevation turret, and we'll do a full rotation of our windage turret. And no, it actually won't. It'll only do a half rotation. Okay, let's dial back our elevation a full rotation and dial back our windage back to 0. And it looks like we're just a fraction of a mil off from our starting position. It could be because I pushed the windage turret all the way to the end, and it could be because this is a budget optic. In any case, this is pretty close. But let's see how well the turrets on this budget scope perform in a torture test. This is the nipple twister test coined by my buddy Cyclops Joe on his channel, and we're just going to turn the heck out of these turrets for a good 20-30 seconds and see if this will go back to 0. All right, let's start with dialing in our elevation to 0, and oops, and then our windage back to 0. Right on. Great. All right, let's bring up our magnification now and take a look at its maximum magnification of 25 power and take a look at a reference target board, and it is actually a lot of detail that we're picking up here, despite the fact that we are getting some chromatic aberration. I can see some green fringing around the outer edge of the target board, but I can see a lot of detail, including the fine lines of the grid target on the top right, and the color board, the color card on the left, is quite vibrant. Now I'm going to tilt down the scope ever so slightly so we can clear the Christmas tree from the bottom part of the board. And wow, I can see bullet hits on the reactive sticker target quite easily, but also, more importantly, there's 2 tiny 22 caliber holes below that reactive sticker target, and I can see those. And in our resolution chart on the bottom right, I can make out both horizontal and vertical lines down to element 3 or even 4 of group -1. Alright, for starters, let me just say thanks for watching this video, and as a reminder, don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe button and notification bell buttons, which are absolutely free. But here's another good reason why you should do that. It's because Aquilifer is giving away one of these scopes to one of my subscribers on my live stream show. So if you hit that notification bell button, you'll be notified when that contest starts in a few weeks. So thanks to Aquilifer for supplying the prize in that contest, as well as for sending out an EP5 to 25 for me to test out. And I gotta say, I'm pleasantly surprised by how well this scope performed for a budget scope. And by budget, it's got a street price of about $360, which is actually a pretty good value for what you're getting here. It's not $1,360, it's just $360. Now, to get a scope at that price tier, you're gonna have to make some compromises, some trade-offs, and chiefly the trade-off with this is that it has a very tight eye box, very unforgiving, even at low power, and it is a pretty heavy scope at about 35 ounces. So yeah, not a lightweight backpacker here. It has pretty decent turrets, not a huge range of adjustments, but pretty decent amount of adjustments here. I like the reticle, and it's got really bright illumination. Doesn't come with a ton of accessories, no throw lever, no rings. And by the way, if you're looking for a budget set of rings that are high performance, these are Discovery Optics 6061 rings. Highly recommend on this. But let me know in the comments what you think is a good compromise in terms of a budget scope. Are you looking for a really forgiving eye box, or is it more important for you that it's bright and clear, or are you looking for a range of adjustments? What kind of trade-offs are you willing to make to get a scope that performs, but you're paying less than $400 for? Let me know in the comments your thoughts on that. But if you are interested in picking up one of these scopes, you can find more information in my full written review at moondogindustries.com, and you can find a link to that article in the video description. So thanks for taking a look at that article. Good luck in the contest. God bless. Moondog out. What did you think of the video? Leave me a comment, and you can always chat with me on X, Facebook, or Instagram. You can find useful links in the video description and check out my other videos, channels, and my website, moondogindustries.com.